Hi there, this is Janet Gerstensiegel, and I'm the Lonely Writer. This is serious social media help for the independent writer who is defined as the author who does not yet have an agent. I'm a master's degree candidate at Quinnipiac University, and this is my capstone project. Today I'm going to be talking about Manuscript Wishlist. Manuscript Wishlist, according to both manuscriptwishlist.com and MSWishlist.com, is what agents and publishers wish was in their slush piles. It's the hashtag on Twitter, MSWL. Agents and publishers feel they've seen it all, so they're looking for something new, but not too new, if that makes any sense, because while they want something to be original, their main objective is, of course, to acquire works which could sell. You will do best on MSWL if your work has a coherent buyer persona or ideal reader. If it fits neatly into one or two genres, that's another way you can really succeed in MSWL. But for a work that is more sweeping and a bit harder to define, you may not have as much success with this. After all, Twitter's only got 140 characters and it moves quickly. For MSWL, at any time during the year, agents and publishers are going to be tweeting about what they are looking for, so please pay attention to their verbiage. In general, it's something like looking for cowboy version of the Hunger Games. If your manuscript fits the bill, then by all means, answer them. If it doesn't, don't waste everybody's time. But there's nothing wrong with requesting a clarification such as, what about a Spanish cowboy version of the Hunger Games? That's probably going to be close enough, and it's probably going to pique their interest. A few tips. If you are answering an MSWL, try to add something about your genre, such as a hashtag for science fiction or romance. Do some searching on Twitter, by the way, for what the specific genre and the hashtags are, because I might be saying SF, but maybe SFF for science fiction fantasy might be more popular. Try not to use more than 3 hashtags because it tends to look rather amateurish. Do a bit of creative Googling and look for agents representing the people who write your genre and the publishers who publish it, and try to target those people. Because even if you've got the cowboy version of the Hunger Games, if there is such a story, if yours is more science fiction, but the publishing house is looking more for romance, unless you want to slant your work differently, you probably aren't going to have the best fit. It doesn't mean that you can't answer this, but you may find that it doesn't go that far. So be aware of that. A few more tips. Twitter moves rather quickly, so if you answer an MSWL from a month ago, I think a lot of people are going to be scratching their heads trying to figure out what you're talking about. You do not need to pounce immediately. It's not like you need to be watching this 24/7. But at the same time, try not to let more than maybe a week elapse before you contact somebody, because otherwise it's moving quickly. They're busy. You're busy. They're going to lose track of where they are. It doesn't mean that you can't query them about that, by the way. Even if the MSWL is a few months old, that's fine. But don't use MSWL as a substitute for querying, because if they ask for your stuff, they're going to want a query letter from you anyway. So you still need to get good at querying. Also, please perform due diligence and check Writer Beware, which is located at sfwa.org. The reason why I'm suggesting this is that very often we hear about people being told that they need to pay for the privilege of being published, but that's not how it works. The money flows in the direction of the creator of the art, which includes written content, the intellectual property. It does not flow away from you. If it flows away from you, then run in the other direction, because that's a pretty surefire indication that it's a scam. Finally, a quick short pep talk for you. Have fun with it. Please try to have fun with it. It might work out, it might not. And the truth is, it probably won't work out because it just isn't something that works out for everybody. But please try not to let that discourage you. In particular, if you've got a work that doesn't define itself quite so well into one or two genres, or if it's really long, sweeping, and complicated, it's probably not going to work out that well for MSWL because it's just not going to be able to fit on Twitter. In the meantime, though, you'll keep getting better at presenting yourself and presenting your work. Finally, this is Janet Gerstensiegel for The Lonely Writer, because an independent writer never has to be alone. Thanks so much for listening.